Boa tarde, estamos no Hotel Sofitel, no Rio de Janeiro, no Vini 20, encontro de vinhos da Editora 20. Temos aqui dois Pinot Noir, Pinot Nero e Pinot Noir. Do lado esquerdo, um vinho da Toscana, estou com Alessandro Celai, que é o enólogo responsável por esse vinho e vários outros. Do meu lado direito, da Borgonha, Gilles de Cossel, representando grandes vinhos com uma grande tradição. So, welcome to Rio, welcome to Brazil. Let's start tasting, and I was talking here before. I want you, each one to taste each other wine, to see how different palates see a different wine. So can you please make your comments on this Clos de Roy Chanson 2005, Alessandro?
Obviously, Pinot Noir is a Burgundy wine, no? So in Burgundy there is the first and probably the real expression of Pinot Noir. And of course 2005, the vintage that we have in the glass here, it's a very good, you can confirm if I'm wrong, but
please.
The vintage 2005 was a very good vintage in Burgundy.
Yes, 2005 was a very good vintage. We had quite a warm climate here, and the maturation of the grapes went extremely well. So overall, we made a very good vintage. A vintage that can last many years. This is the one which is already 6 years of age, but it has the capacity to age 10, 15 years.
It's a baby.
And it's still a baby at this stage.
So for me, this is a very classic Pinot Noir from Burgundy. But I agree totally with the producer that this is a real baby at this time. So for me, this is an incredible potential of ageability in this wine, and I will be very curious to taste again, maybe in 4 or 5 years again, because it should be much better.
In terms of comparison with world wine, what is the main difference between?
First of all, I think in my Pinot Noir there is a little bit higher. It's a little bit higher in richness. Mm-hmm. So probably in quantity of polyphenol, right? And starting from the color, and you can see in my wine a little higher richness from the color till the tasting and the palate. But obviously my target is to make the best Pinot Noir, obviously outside of Burgundy, and that is my target. And looking at the best production of Burgundy, for me that is the style that I have to follow. Obviously, it's not possible to make a perfect Burgundy style because we are in Tuscany. But I think that in Tuscany, in that side of Tuscany, and especially in my property, we have, fortunately, one of the few areas real great to do Pinot Noir. In fact, it's very rare to find a good Pinot Noir from Tuscany.
What kind of soil you have there?
We have a very calcareous soil.
That is perfect.
Very rich in stone. And we are very close to a small river called Arbia, the river born in our property. And so we have a perfect excursion in terms of temperature between night and day, especially during the summertime. So we have an average temperature during the summer of 35-37 degrees, the maximum. And in terms of minimum temperature at night, we are going around 12-13. So we have a big excursion, and that is perfectly for the maturation of the Pinot Noir.
Anything to add on the comments on your
Yes,
wine?
I think one of the particularity, of course, of Burgundy that compared with Tuscany is that we are a much northern vineyard, of course, and obviously, I mean, the maturation of the grapes is different because, I mean, the sun that you have in Tuscany is very different from the sun that we can have in Burgundy. We have a much cooler vineyard. The grapes mature much more slowly, and So that's and that explains the level of polyphenol, you know, in the
of
wines,
course.
which are less intense. And also, you know, in Burgundy, as you know, what Pinot Noir is grown on many different plots of vineyards, which are very different from each other. And this one comes from the Beaune. It's a Premier Cru from Beaune. It's Clos du Roi, and it's one of the 100 different appellations that we have in Burgundy for Pinot Noir. You know, so as you know, the wine is called not by the grape variety Pinot Noir, but it's called by the appellation, village, and what we call the terroir itself. In this case, Clos du Roi. The other point is that in terms of soil, we have also a soil of limestone, calcaire, you know, mixed with clay and limestone together, which is very, very typical from Burgundy.
Let's taste the other one. Please. Well, Podere Monastro, La Pineta 2008. What do you think of this wine? A little bit more color.
Yes, obviously the color you see immediately is darker, and you have a lot of fruity aromas, typical from Pinot Noir. You know, the black fruit aromas, the blackberries, cherries. You know, that are very, very evident here. We are in a younger wine, you know, fresh fruit, which is very obvious.
I found a lot of minerals on your Clos du Roi, for example. More minerals, more complexity, also very, very good wine. Here, let's taste.
Yeah. In fact, it's the first time I taste this wine.
You like?
So
you like.
I have to say, no,
I don't even know that.
No, I find it very nice. And I have to say, because I've tasted a lot of Pinot Noir grown from all around the world, obviously. You were talking about the minerality of your soil, and where do you find it here? You know, the limestone. You know, it's there. You know, which makes the wines elegant with a finesse, delicacy. You know,
not only fruit and wood.
That's what you expect from a good wine. Not only the strong grape variety flavor. You know, no, forget it. I mean, some country can do that, but I think in our regions, Tuscany or Burgundy, I mean, what is very important is the reflection of the terroir, where the vine is grown, and
that's what we're trying to show here. Nice. Same variety, but very different soil, very different climates, very different analogy to the different tastings.